Hey YouTube, Jack here, checking in with you on my low-carb keto diet update. Because last week some things went on with Friday, I had a big deal with my podcast, episode 2500, and so I took the day off. I had the show preloaded. It was pretty cool. You might want to check it out. You can find it at tspc.co. That's where my podcast is. I didn't do an update on Friday, and then we had a long weekend because of Labor Day. So we have not spoken for 5 days. So how did I do over that 5 days? Last we spoke, I was 234 pounds. This morning, I weighed in at 231.8 pounds. Yes, I'm going to count the points because I weigh myself every day and run a spreadsheet, whatever. But it's 2.2 pounds. Let's call it 2 pounds over 5 days. Right now, on my plan, because you have that first week, and it's about 7 to 10 days, that honestly, what you lose is primarily water. Carbohydrates give our body the ability to retain more moisture, more water, and when you go to a ketogenic diet, at first you have a big water dump, and so depending on your size, that could be anywhere from 4 to 10 pounds or even more. But you'll know when you're done, because you'll go from this like losing 2 pounds a day, which is, it's by the numbers, with fat burning, it's not doable. Now if you're like 490 pounds, and you're moving around while you're doing this, well, maybe, because it takes a lot to move that much body. But if you're just overweight, like many people that enter keto, like myself, who entered just under 250 pounds, and being a pretty big guy. I mean, the government says I'm supposed to weigh 168. When I was very athletic as a senior in high school at 17 years old, I was 185 pounds. So I'm a big man. I'm not going to ever weigh that light, but 250 is way overweight for me. But it's not behemoth can't move type thing. So my metabolic rate, we're just going to leave the B off of it for today, is rather high as far as just running my body, because that means basically your basal metabolic rate was, I'm doing it right now. When you're breathing and sitting still, like your body needs a certain amount of calories every day. So there's a certain amount of caloric burn there. The bigger you are, the bigger that number is to run your body, to move your arm, whatever, right? So if you're really, really heavy, you might do that. Most of us, you're not going to be burning 2 pounds of freaking fat a day. It's not doable. So you'll come down to a plateau, and when you do, you're going to start losing weight. A reasonable weight loss is going to be somewhere around a pound every 5 to 7 days. Early on, as you're becoming more fat adapted, you can do a little bit better than that. But again, 3,500 calories equals 1 pound of fat. You can't change that. Keto's wonderful, but it's science. It's not magic. So you can't all of a sudden be burning 7,000 extra calories a day, dropping 2 pounds a day. So that's where we're at. So that's why my plan is about 1 pound every 5 days. And I'm ahead of plan right now. And I probably will end up back, like those two things will come together. And that's the way things work. So I just wanted to say that. So, being right now, I'm supposed to hit 231 by the 9th of September, which is still almost a week away. My guess is I'm going to hit 231 tomorrow. Here's the pattern I've noticed in myself. I don't know if any of you guys have noticed this. I go like 2 days weighing in. I mean, my scale is really accurate, identical, the exact same weight as I've lost nothing. On the third day, I'll lose like 0.2, 0.4 pounds, somewhere between 0.2 and a half pound. And the next day I'll drop that full pound, right? Not from the day before, but from the total of those 4 or 5 days. And then I'll be the same, a little bit, and a big drop about the 4th, 5th day. Just the way it's been. All right, so my pitfall or whatever for today's episode, I'm not, usually I'm talking about something that you have to watch out for when you're doing keto. I want to talk about a different thing. The pitfall of, I wish I could do keto, but. Let me say, first of all, if you're a type 1 diabetic, keto may or may not, with supervision, be something to look at, but it may not be the perfect thing for a type 1 diabetic. Type 2 diabetics and everybody else, most of us will do really well on a keto diet. I don't claim a keto diet is the right diet for everybody. Anybody that says everybody should, I don't listen to it, because everybody's different. But I think the best diet for the most people. And for instance, I ran across 2 people, but one specifically, and she knows who she is this weekend, saying, I wish I could, but I don't want to deprive myself, and I really love fruit, and I blah, blah, blah. Okay, all I hear is excuses. Now, before I go on, if you say, I'm happy with the way I am, I like my life the way it is, I am not complaining about my weight, my appearance, or my health, I don't give a shit what you do, man. That's fine, right? When you're telling me you don't like what you have, but you can't, well, now you're saying basically, tell me why I can. And that's how I take it. So if you come to me and say, I wish I could, but I can't, bullshit, right? Because I know that 90% of what you can't do, maybe 99% of what you can't do is here, and the actual cravings for I won't be able to live without this thing in my life is 1% in the body and 99% in the head. Also, if you're the kind of person that you just watch this because you like me and you're 165 pounds and you eat freaking ding-dongs and ho-hos every day and you go to the doctor and you get your laboratory results and they're all wonderful, do whatever you want to do. There are people blessed like that. God bless you. Good for you. I don't try to promote anybody into the camp, so to say. But if you're telling me I'm fat and I don't like my life the way it is and I wish I could do what you're doing, but I can't because I'll deprive myself, I have 2 words for you, or 1 word, depending on how you write them down. Bullshit. Bullshit you can't. You're choosing not to. And let me explain to you where this comes from in a mental state. This one person said, I cut my carbs to 50 one time, 50 a day, and that made me miserable. Well, of course it did, because you've accomplished nothing. All you did was deprive yourself. You're right, you deprived yourself. You didn't get your carb count low enough to become fat adapted. I guarantee you when you said you were doing 50, you were doing more like 75. Because you weren't measuring everything, you didn't take it seriously. So you were down at around 75 and not eating apples and pears and gummy bears or whatever. So all you could fixate on at that point was what you didn't have. When you come to a true keto lifestyle, you don't worry about what you can't have. And I don't mean you don't, I mean you shouldn't, okay? You should not come into this going, man, I'm never going to have taco shells, and I'm never going to have apples and grapes and pears. What you should be thinking is, man, I get to lose weight and have to force myself to eat. I get to lose weight and eat ribeye steak. I get to lose weight and eat dark meat chicken with the skin on. I get to lose weight and eat freaking bacon. I get to lose weight and eat freaking at least 1 big, massive salad a day where I have to force myself to eat that last bite. And I get to put really great dressing of some kind on it, like homemade blue cheese or something like that. I get to live like a king, and I get to lose weight for just being responsible enough to take control of what I'm eating, when I eat it, and how much I eat. But I get to eat pretty much anything I want on a list of food this long, and all of it is the stuff people pay the most money for because it's considered the best quality food. Nobody pays a shitload of money for a bag of potatoes or a bag of pasta. It's the cheapest food. Beans, rice, corn, right? Wheat, and potatoes. It's the cheapest food in the world because it's largely junk food. It's not human food. It was never human food until modern agriculture made it human food. Even in the past, most peasants ate mostly meat and dairy and wild game and foraged foods. Grain was like the food of the aristocrat, or there was a small amount of bread for a very small amount of people. Small amount of bread compared to the amount of people. Because making bread when you have to grow the wheat and scythe it and grain is an incredibly labor-intensive crop. It's only become something people eat in earnest, right? Until modern man from Europe came to the Americas and took the potato back. They didn't even know what a potato was in Europe. We ate salmon, right? Fatty fish and cod, and that was like one of the mainstays of even poor people for a long time, even with civilization. You go back before that, and everybody ate mostly meats. And today, when you go to a restaurant, they don't charge you a lot of money for potatoes and rice. They charge you a lot of money for steak. So you get to eat a luxury diet, and this is the big thing. All these cravings you think you'll have, you might for the first week, especially if you have the wrong mental attitude. Oh, I wish I could. Oh, I wish I could. You cut your carbs to 20 carbs. You get your macros right. So and even if you have to in the first week, if you have to eat a pound of bacon a day, screw it. Go ahead. If it's what gets you through it, consider it your methadone. You're coming off of dope, you consider that your methadone. And what will happen is all of a sudden you won't want to eat that much. Get yourself through a week. Then get yourself through a second week. In the second week, go to 3 meals a day and control your portion size and stick to 20 carbs total. And it'll get easier the third week because then go to 2 meals a day. Go to 2 meals a day, 6 to 4 hours apart. Put that intermittent fast on there. Because I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. It's easier to stick to your carbs when you're only eating twice a day, because if you're at 20, now you could have 10 if you're out and do no snacks when you get to that third week. oh my God, no, just quit whining if you want to change your life. If you don't want to change your life, stop watching these videos. If you do want to change your life, shut up and do this for 3 weeks. At the end of that 3rd week, the worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to look and you're going to have lost, by my numbers, 4 to 6% of your body weight. By the way, as of this morning, 6.15% of your body weight. You're going to be completely into a true fat adapted state. You're going to be into actual ketosis, not made up make-believe ketosis. And you're going to realize that you're going at 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon before you eat your first meal. And that you got to eat around 6 o'clock if you want enough time for your intermittent fasting. You're going to have to make yourself eat. I know you don't think that's what's going to happen. And all the people that say, well, I tried it and it didn't, I'm not going to say everybody. Again, when somebody says everybody, there are outliers. People are different. People respond differently to different things. I accept that. The majority of people, when I say majority, I mean like 9.9 out of 10, okay, 99%, that say, well, I tried it and that didn't happen. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You were eating food with carbohydrates you weren't counting. You were making decisions on the fly. You did not get out of scale and say, if this thing has X amount of carbs per ounce in this meal with all the other things, I can have 3 ounces of this thing and weigh 3 ounces of this thing. You didn't do that. And you know you didn't do that. So you don't know what it would have done if you did do that. All I'm saying is, changing your life does require effort. But in this case, it doesn't require sacrifice. And the question you have to ask, if I don't do something, if you're 30 or 40 pounds overweight and you don't do something now, where will you be in 10 years? Where will you be in 10 years? What will your heart look like in 10 years? How will your family feel 10 years from now when you're in a hospital bed? That's the truth. And again, this won't work for everybody. But odds are, if it didn't work for you, you didn't do it. And again, if you're happy, if your lab results are good, if you're not fat, and you eat rice and beans every day, tortillas, great. Don't worry about it. I'm not going to tell you to change the way you're eating if it works for you. But if you're overweight, your cholesterol sucks, your triglyceride sucks, you have insulin resistance, you lose energy in the middle of the day, all of that shit, and you're complaining about it in any way, shape, or form, there's only one person in this world who can change that for you. If you're wondering who it is, I suggest you take a walk into your bathroom, look in the mirror. Most of you probably have a scale on the floor in the bathroom. Look at that scale and ask yourself one simple question. Do I want this scale to be my friend or my enemy? Most Americans have a scale and they hate it. They hate stepping on it, they hate looking at it. Since I made this change in my life, and I've done low carb before, I've never done full-on, measured, 100% supplement provided ketosis ever this way. For the first time in my life, that scale is my friend. When I wake up in the morning, I can't wait to take a dump, so I'm weighing me instead of my dump, to be blunt. Get on that scale and walk in here and stick a number on this spreadsheet. A lot of people believed in a lot of things that I was doing in the world. I've helped a lot of people over 11 years of my podcast. We just did episode 2500, 3 hours of people saying they changed their life because of what I said. But the only one that could change my life, even when I knew what I should be doing and I wasn't doing it, drinking too much, eating too much, and not taking care of myself, the only person that could do that is the guy you're looking at in the screen right now, me. If it's you, I'm speaking to you, and I'm trying to improve the quality of your life, and in some of your cases, save your fucking life. You're the only one that can do it for yourself. It's your choice. I can't make it for you. See you tomorrow.